Hello, citizens of the world. Today, let's talk about Garden of Life. Ever imagine how our ancestors started Garden of Life? In the very beginning of life, we feed to survive. Slowly but surely, we soon develop the ability to farm. From careful observation, we slowly learn to yield the ability to grow crops and harvest the end results, saving us time to hunt every day. As time goes by, we slowly build into a community, specializing in different yields, whom we soon use as trading chips to exchange goods that we want with each other, hence diving into the era of barter. Back in those days, kingdom recognized the importance of harvesting, as it's not only a source of food, but a symbol of power as well. How much troops you can muster depends on how much food you have, and 75% is dedicated into farm. In majority of the kingdoms, slowly but surely, as soon as we introduce alternative commodity to represent barter, less and less people make effort to farm, prefer instead to buy from others with the new commodity, and slowly the majority of the public lose the ability to yield crops or farm. In modern days, we don't even have space to farm for our own food, and we depend on our currency commodity to survive, buying from supermarket or from the very few farmers whom is farming for the majority of the population. This presents a problem by itself, as it has shown that during a pandemic or other serious situation like disasters will cause us to lose the ability to survive, given the majority of the society deem farming as hard work and would rather their kids to study for the purpose of earning more commodity rather than learning how to build sustainability for their future. The problem with society now is only a handful of people who realize our problem and started to change the image of farming, but not as grand as a scale to our current demands, as the number of population is way more than our ability to distribute food evenly around the world. The imbalance caused by the disruption from commodity is huge. Countries that could not grow crops overstock food from other countries as they are rich, while the poor and underdeveloped country are harvesting all their resource in exchange for commodity, supposedly to build the country, but is intercepted by corruption, and only a handful few enjoy the harvest of a nation, while the rest is living in poverty. I believe this pandemic would push us to question our short life goals in life. Enough to produce for everyone is essential, and the cost should be bared at the very minimum, as one day when we build a space station or plan for space travel, permanent sustainability will be one of the major issues that we have to tackle. Ever question why back in our 60s and 70s things only cost a few cents, while things in the 21st century cost 3 to 5 times more than what it used to be? Based on such trajectory, sooner or later we will not be able to work enough for even a day's food. That is when more citizens start to riot, raid and rob to survive, and its limit has been tested during this pandemic. As country is getting worse economically, more people are desperate and thus abandon advice for the sake of survival. If a country had abundance of food reserve, a strong lockdown followed by military distribution of food could help hold the line and keep everyone safe. Surely the economic will take a punch, but after a lockdown, and be able to fully regain control of the pandemic crisis, restarting slowly while tightly regulate external import of tourists, could see the economic grow much steady. That is the benefit of the idea of having gardens of life. The idea of getting rid of hunger or fear for food survival as basic need for the society is not new. The only problem some people see, without the motivation of fear through survival, others would be much less susceptible to following orders. With hunger and fear, each individual will do whatever it takes to survive and would be less reluctant to follow orders, as these are human natural survival instinct that is blackmailed by corruption, so that a certain individual will gain and own power as long as they can. That may be good for a small group of people, but in the long run, we as humankind will self-destruct, as when the next generation find it hard to survive, less baby will be born. When more realize that every generation will suffer, the middle class will prefer only one kid on average, while the extreme poor produce more than they can take care of, crippling the world's progression and potentially slow us down enough that the world will constantly be in chaos. The pandemic gave us a unique opportunity to start over. Some places like in Bali, where they used to rely on tourists a lot, suddenly having no income from them, forces the islanders to restart their old method of survival, farming, harvesting within their own island. Having land to produce your own food is good, but to meet modern demands, conventional farming is no longer valid. Farming in modern days would not only require horizontally, but vertically as well, as each floor will generate more than the land itself, and technology would help us build towards mass farming. What is required next would be scientists' ability in research and development to produce food that could grow faster, last longer, and most importantly, healthier, so that we could store excessive foods in reserve and face potential disaster challenge in the future. I hope that people realize and understand we are sooner or later heading towards that direction to rebuild the garden of life, as no matter how much this pandemic claimed the lives of the innocent, the sad reality is, even if the world population are dead by 50% right now, the price will still remain the same for food as survival, and worse, it could be more expensive due to the fact that less manpower is harvesting them, and it will shorten us to rely on factories to mass produce food with robots as a replacement, which would affect our health and change the way we move forward. In all hopes and best wishes, stay safe, stay creative and imaginative. I see you guys on the next episode. Bye.